Hi, everybody. I have no idea if this is working. I have my mask on, so hopefully you can hear me. Is my microphone on? I'm going to keep on going. We are on Central Park West on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Pablo, how are you, Pablo? Great to see Pablo. How's my audio, Pablo? Because I have a mask on. You can see there's Midtown Manhattan over there. That's Central Park South off in the distance. Hopefully this is coming through okay. How's life in LA? I have to get back out to LA, Pablo. I haven't been out there in 2 years, I think now. Okay, thanks, Pablo. So we are going to go for a walk in Central Park, which is right across the street. It's 64 Fahrenheit. Good to see you, Robson. 64 Fahrenheit, which is about 18 Celsius. It's about 10 minutes past 5 p.m. here on the East Coast. Just got off of work. Still working from home due to the coronavirus. By the way, I got a Johnson & Johnson shot last Wednesday. I got vaccinated last Wednesday with Johnson & Johnson. And all the news today is they pulled Johnson & Johnson off the shelves. No more Johnson & Johnson vaccine till further notice. But I feel fine. Very great to see you. It's Susie. It is 64 Fahrenheit, which is about 18 Celsius. If you look off in the distance, those tall skyscrapers, that's Central Park South. I'm actually heading north to go enter Central Park here, which I believe is the 85th Street entrance. So I'm on the Upper West Side right now, about to head into Central Park. It's actually a beautiful day. It's about 10 after 5, 18 Celsius. Hey, Yassi, 64 Fahrenheit. I'm speaking through a mask, so I'm told the audio, though, is good. Let me know if that changes. I have my phone in landscape. I know I haven't been on in a while, been a bit busy. Good to be back outside. Going to get a little bit of walking exercise today. I usually go running in Central Park, but I overdid it with my running and I sprained my foot a little bit, so have to take it easy till my foot heals a little bit more. I should be able to start running again by the weekend because my foot feels so much better today than it did just a few days ago. So we're now inside Central Park. We are now in Central Park. We entered at 85th Street on Central Park West. Yes, happy Ramadan to all those celebrating. Are you fasting, Yassi? I know at Ramadan you have to fast. Good to see Gary in here. Susie, all of you. Gorgeous day today. Great day to be out and exercise here in Central Park. Slight breeze. I have a little jacket on. Got my mask on, my headphones on. Yassine is fasting. Good for you, Yassine. I wish all those celebrating Ramadan a very happy, healthy Ramadan. Enjoy your family gatherings, with I assume safe family gatherings with the pandemic going around. It is a beautiful day, Susie. By now it's probably 5:15 p.m., give or take, maybe 5:20 p.m. A very slight breeze. The park is very crowded. We're going to walk around the reservoir. We're almost there. Maybe another 3 minutes, we'll be at the reservoir. Once you get deeper into Central Park, you have no idea you're in Manhattan. Would you know right now you were in Manhattan if I told you, if I didn't tell you where we were? Very chilly where you are, Gary, in London. So you can see there's lots of people on their bicycles, people on skateboards, people just walking like we are. I see parents with their kids in the stroller. Nice crowded day on this beautiful spring day in New York City in Central Park. Hey, Betty. Good to see all of you here. This is my first HAPS broadcast since Periscope shut down. It is not my first HAPS broadcast overall. It is my first HAPS broadcast since shut down. So for all those joining from Periscope, welcome. And if you're joining from YouTube, welcome. If you're watching on Twitter Live, welcome. And if you're watching on Haps, welcome. I'm broadcasting from the Haps app, but Haps simulcasts through all social media platforms that I have, at least, which is Twitter and YouTube. No more Periscope. Although you can still use the Periscope app to view broadcasts, you can no longer broadcast from the Periscope app. So we're going to cross right here. The reservoir's across the street. We're on the west side of Central Park. You can see the apartment buildings aligning Central Park West. And I'm just going to quickly cross the street, and we will enter the reservoir and walk around the reservoir. Beautiful evening here in New York City. When I get on the reservoir, I'm going to lower my mask a little because I will probably be 6 feet away from folks. Joey from Brooklyn. Oh, Joey, it's so good to see you. Everybody follow Joey from Brooklyn. Joey broadcasts on YouTube. Follow Joey Brooklyn on YouTube. I'm not sure if Joey's even on Haps, but I know he's on YouTube. So follow Joey from Brooklyn on YouTube. So let me just pause here for a moment and show you the reservoir. So here's this. Hey, Ocean Blue. Oh, thanks, Joey. Great to see Joey. Hey, Eleanor. So this is the Central Park Reservoir in New York City. This is named after, the official name is the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir. Mrs. Kennedy, back in the 70s, lived right on Fifth Avenue, where I'm pointing. That's Fifth Avenue. And back in the 1970s, this reservoir back in the 1970s was a really bad eyesore. It was polluted, it wasn't maintained, it was yucky. And Mrs. Kennedy raised millions of dollars, and she helped the city of New York clean it up. And it's been cleaned and maintained ever since. And as a result, the city of New York named it the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir. But us New Yorkers, we just refer to it as the reservoir or the Central Park Reservoir. As you can see, it's very popular with runners. It's a nice soft ground for running. It's 1.58 miles around. I go running around this reservoir all the time throughout the week. But as I mentioned, I overdid it the other day, so I sort of sprained my foot a little bit, so I'm not allowed to run right now until my foot gets a little stronger. It feels so much better. So maybe this weekend I'll start running again. You're from Periscope. Good to see you. Okay, Lenore. Thank you, Eleanor. The comments, I think, are a little bit delayed. Just a gorgeous day, 64 Fahrenheit, about 18 Celsius, almost 18 Celsius. Hopefully the audio is coming across okay because I do have a mask on. Although I pulled it to my chin because there's no one within 6 feet of me. Joey, if you're still on, are you on Haps or are you on Haps at all, or are you watching this through the YouTube feed? Because if you're on Haps, I'll also tell the folks to follow you on Haps. But I think you're only on YouTube, but I could be mistaken. Audio is fine. Thank you, Betty. Thank you all for being here. Now, do you see that building? Let me zoom in a little bit as I'm walking. Hopefully I won't trip. Do you see that building right there? That is the Guggenheim Museum on Fifth Avenue and around 87th, 88th Street. That is the Guggenheim Museum. I'll point that out again as we turn the corner and walk right in front of it or from across the street from it. Petra Rock Band. Audio is fine. Audio is perfect. So we're going to walk all around this reservoir. It's about 1.58 miles around. So if you get bored, I will not be insulted if you leave and come back. It's your decision, whatever's best for you, but I appreciate all of you being here as you come and go across the broadcast. So that is the Fifth Avenue side of Central Park. We're heading east right now. We're going to walk all around the reservoir. As we make the turn, when we get to the end, a few more minutes of walking, when we get, not to the end, I'm sorry, when we get to the Fifth Avenue side, we will take a left-hand turn and head north. Then when we get to the northern side, which is right across the way, you're going to see gorgeous, gorgeous views of Midtown Manhattan. Absolutely breathtaking, gorgeous views when we get to the northern part of this reservoir. Just gorgeous outside. There's barely a breeze. I have a feeling when we get to the northern part, that's where the wind usually starts to pick up. So we'll see. But right now, there's hardly any wind. And down here, I'm facing, if you look off in the distance, you might see some of the skyscrapers from Midtown Manhattan, but those are way off in the distance. Now, that fool that just drove by on a bicycle going 100 miles an hour, there are no bicycles allowed on this running track, so he's going to get kicked off or yelled at, but that's not my problem. So we will keep walking. Great day for a run. I wish I could run right now, but my foot's too sore. Okay. It is a beautiful clear sky. There's no clouds, just clear crystal blue. Just beautiful. Look at that blue sky. No clouds. Great, great day to be in the city. It rained here yesterday on and off, so the rain may have cleared everything out, which is good. Last I checked, right before this broadcast started, temperature was 64 Fahrenheit, which is almost 18 Celsius, like 17.8 Celsius, something like that. And we're walking around the Central Park Reservoir, 1.58 miles around on the jogging track. Very popular running track here in New York City. Hope you're enjoying the views. You know, us New Yorkers, we take a lot of this for granted because we're so used to it, but I never get tired of these views ever. Now, last weekend when I walked around here, wasn't last weekend, I'm sorry, a few days ago, the cherry blossoms were all in bloom and it looked beautiful looking at all the cherry blossoms. So we'll see as we start to make the turn to head north how the cherry blossoms are looking. 17 Celsius. So the temperature may have dropped by 1 degree. Instead of 64, it might be 63 right now. So now we're making the turn. As you can see, Fifth Avenue is coming into view. There's the Guggenheim Museum right there. I'll show you that as we get closer. And there's the reservoir immediately to my left, which is facing north. We're walking east and about to take a turn to go north. Local raw honey helps reduce pollution. Well, thank you, author. Learn something new every day. You can see the cherry blossoms. We'll point those out throughout. Here's one of the cherry blossom trees. You Googled it, and that's what it said. Okay, so now we made the turn. We are now heading north, and the buildings you see is Fifth Avenue. So Fifth Avenue is to my east, to the right. Straight ahead is north, and if I tilt the camera to my left or turn it to my left, you see those buildings on my left. That's facing west. That's Central Park West. So west, north, this is north, and this is east. So when I face east now, this is all Fifth Avenue. All Fifth Avenue right here. I get so mad. Great day for a run in Central Park. If you can, come on out. And you'll see the cherry blossoms coming into view. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. And look at the gorgeous views facing west on Central Park West. And here's our cherry blossom. Can you see that? I hope it's coming out clear. It's gorgeous. Wow, look at this cherry blossom tree. And behind the cherry blossom tree is the Guggenheim Museum. Right there. That's the Guggenheim. Let me see if I can get you a better view of the Guggenheim through these trees. The Guggenheim is around 89th Street on 5th Avenue. There it is. Right through those trees, straight ahead. Straight ahead to my right, which is 5th Avenue. There it is, right in the middle of your screen. That is the Guggenheim Museum right there. Famous Guggenheim Museum. Here's another gorgeous cherry blossom with the Guggenheim right behind it. Look at that. Look at that. Gorgeous. Here's more cherry blossoms. Look at these cherry blossoms. And there's the Guggenheim. Right there. That's the Guggenheim Museum on 5th Avenue. And here's the cherry blossoms. Now, I'm going to go up a few more feet and then pause and show you some gorgeous views facing west. So let me just make sure the coast is clear, because sometimes it's not. Okay. So now, the sun is in my eye. Hopefully you can see this. I am facing directly west. All these buildings is Central Park West, across the water. That's where we started this right over there on Central Park West. And these are all apartment buildings that face the water on Central Park West. Prime real estate, ladies and gentlemen. Just gorgeous out, not a cloud in the sky. Clear blue skies. When we get to the northern part of the reservoir and face back south, you will see breathtaking views of Midtown Manhattan. But that's probably have about 10 minutes worth of walking. Probably about 10 minutes worth of walking. A little less than 10 minutes before we get to that northern part of the reservoir. Cherry blossoms directly above my head. Great day for some exercise in the park. Great day for a walk. Great day for a run. Great day for tennis, skateboarding, bicycling. You name it, you can do it all here in Central Park. And if I didn't show you these skyscrapers across the way, you would never know you're in the middle of New York City right now. Another apartment building to my right, that's 5th Avenue. Hats will be live at 3:30 p.m., which is 6:30 p.m. East Coast time. So I am broadcasting now on the Hacks app. However, when I broadcast, I simulcast on Twitter Live and also on YouTube. Nabul! Do you guys see Nabul? Everybody follow Nabul on YouTube. And I believe Nabul is also on Hacks. Make sure you follow Nabul, Neboul. Nabul does tours throughout the south of France, walking tours. Sometimes he takes a ferry in the Mediterranean on the south of France. Wonderful broadcaster. Make sure you follow Nabul. Welcome, Nabul. Bonjour. Vive la France. So again, if you're just joining, we are inside Central Park, walking around the Central Park Reservoir, which is known for its running track. But I'm walking today, and you're walking with me virtually. Thank you for being here, all of you. When we get to the northern part, just about another 5-minute walk maybe, We will face the camera south and you will see amazing, breathtaking views of Midtown Manhattan, all the skyscrapers in Midtown Manhattan. It's a view that never ever gets old, never gets sick of seeing that view. But you have to wait till we get to that northern part of the reservoir. The reservoir is 1.58 miles around. We're walking all around the reservoir, getting our exercise in. Great day for a run in the park. I run this exact route several times a week, but we're not running today. We are walking. And you can see there's another running track directly below me here, down this little hill. But the views where we are is much better. Here's another cherry blossom tree right above my head. Walking above the below the cherry blossoms. Look at these cherry blossoms. How gorgeous. Oh, gorgeous. I hope the colors are coming through. Absolutely gorgeous. Wow. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. There's another big cherry blossom tree coming up ahead. And camera now facing west. Those buildings that you're looking at now facing west is Central Park West. I'm walking on the east side of the park. And we'll be on that west side of the park in another 10, 15 minutes, less than that. And here's another cherry blossom tree that we're about to walk underneath. Indeed, ocean blue, indeed. Wow. Gorgeous. Perfect day. Wind is starting to pick up just a little bit, as it usually does when you head to the northern part of the reservoir. Not uncommon at all. As you head a little bit more north, the wind does pick up. Louise! Do you guys see Louise Poppy? A wonderful, wonderful broadcaster here on Hacks and on Twitter Live. Louise is based in New Zealand, in Auckland, and she does wonderful walking tours showing the sights and sounds throughout Auckland and New Zealand, and the world for that matter. Louise travels a lot. She's been here in New York a number of times, and she goes to Japan a lot. She travels all over and brings you the sights and sounds of her travel. So follow Louise Poppy. She's amazing. Right here on Hacks, and she's also on Twitter Live. Here's another cherry blossom tree, a little to my right. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. What a day for a walk. It's probably close to 5:30 or around 5:30 p.m. I'm not wearing my watch in New York City right now. There's hardly any wind. It picked up slightly, but still light wind. 64 or 63 Fahrenheit, which is about 17 or 18 Celsius. Could not ask for a better day in New York City right now on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Now we are walking underneath another blossom tree. I hope these beautiful white colors of the cherry blossoms are coming through, because it is spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Wow. Okay. And here's the reservoir. We're walking all around the reservoir, 1.58 miles around. And when we get to the northern, I'm repeating myself, but I know people are hopping in and out, so that's the reason for my repetitive nature here. Just want to remind those who may have missed it before, when we get to the northern part of the reservoir, we're getting very close. I will face the camera south, and you will have a beautiful view of the Midtown Manhattan skyline, and you'll see all the skyscrapers. Yes, absolutely beautiful blossoms. Cherry blossoms are out in full bloom. There's more of them across the way, which we'll pass when we get to it. We're now heading to the northern part of the reservoir. 1.58 miles around. Tuesday afternoon here in New York City. Early evening, very late afternoon, depending on how you look at it. Probably around 5:30 p.m., a little after that. You can see the runners are out, the walkers are out. We'll be passing tennis courts in a little while. We'll see if people are out playing tennis. When we first entered the park, you saw a lot of people riding their bicycles, people on skateboards. Just a fantastic, beautiful day here in the city to be out and about, getting exercise, or just enjoying the sunshine and the beautiful weather. We had rain here yesterday. It rained on and off all day yesterday. So everyone's happy to be back outside in the nice weather. And now you can see we're making the turn to head to the west side of the reservoir. So we'll be leaving the east side, which is the Fifth Avenue side. And when you can see, we're making the turn to head west. So we're now approaching the northern part of the reservoir, and probably in another minute and a half or so, I'll stop and I'll face the camera directly south, and you'll see the beautiful Midtown. We're almost at that point where I can do that. Just a little bit more ways to go, and we'll flip the camera backwards. Not backwards, facing south. Beautiful day. You can see the sun. Gorgeous. So you can see this. You see the skyline. I'm starting to point the camera south. Just a little bit more to go, and I'll stop and zoom in and point out some of the buildings when I turn the camera in that direction south. That is all Midtown Manhattan. Camera now pointing south. I'm walking west to the west. Camera facing south. And that is the beautiful Midtown Manhattan skyline. And I will stop in a moment. Just want to walk a little bit more. I will zoom in and we'll talk about some of these buildings. Now, if I were not pointing the camera at all these skyscrapers, you would never know you're in the middle of New York City. So, and I'll prove it to you. Look, let me turn the camera to the north. All you see is lush grass and flowers and trees and cherry blossoms. You would never know you're in the city. When I face the camera north, only when I face the camera south can you see all the buildings from this vantage point. Now that is Fifth Avenue, where I'm pointing. That's where we just were. We walked up Fifth Avenue along the reservoir. That's south. Here's another gorgeous cherry blossom tree we're walking under. I'm walking in a western direction, heading to the west side of the reservoir. But we're going to stop here in a moment, and I will point out some of these gorgeous buildings. I just have a little bit more to go to get the good spot for us. No, the World Trade Center is much further downtown. I'm in northern Manhattan right now. I'm probably in the 90s, around 95th Street, give or take, inside Central Park. The World Trade Center is way downtown in the financial district, probably about 5 miles to the south of where I'm standing right now. Okay, let me stop here. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in. Okay, now I've zoomed in. This is all, let me zoom out for a second. Hold on. Okay, so this is Fifth Avenue. This is where we just walked. That right there is the Guggenheim Museum. And that is Fifth Avenue where we just came from. Now, if I face south, let me zoom back in. This is all of Midtown Manhattan. And we will talk about some of these skyscrapers. Okay. Now that building right there with the antenna is on Lexington Avenue around 58th, 59th with the antenna. That is the Bloomberg Tower. The top half of that building is multi-million-dollar condominiums where people live. The lower half of that building is Bloomberg News. So if you ever listen to Bloomberg News, that it broadcasts right out of that building. The building right next, or that appears to be right next to it with that angle, that is the Citibank building. So if those of you who might have come across the Citibank ATM or are familiar with Citibank, That's their corporate headquarters right there. This tall, skinny building is 432 Park Avenue. 432 Park Avenue used to be the tallest residential building in the entire Western Hemisphere. J-Lo, when she was with A-Rod, lived in that building. They recently sold it. They don't live there anymore. The penthouse of 432 Park Avenue, when it was first built about 10 years ago at this point, maybe a little less than 10 years ago, the penthouse was put on the market for about $95 million. And a billionaire from Saudi Arabia called the developer up and said, I know you're asking $95 million for the penthouse. Will you accept $88 million? And the developer said, yes, I'll accept it. So that penthouse was sold for $88 million to a multi-billionaire in Saudi Arabia. And what did the billionaire from Saudi Arabia do when he purchased that penthouse? He gave it to his daughter. He gave it to his daughter. I wish that would only happen with me. And yes, you know what I'm going to say. You're sick of me saying this. I don't care. I'm saying it again. I asked my father to buy me a penthouse when I heard about the daughter of the billionaire from Saudi Arabia getting this gifted to her by her dad. So, of course, I then asked my father to buy me a penthouse. And my father did not even verbally respond to me. He just looked at me, rolled his eyes at me, and shook his head no. So that was my answer. I did not get any penthouse. Now, you can only see the very tippy top, but where I'm pointing, you see the tippy top of an antenna. That is the Empire State Building. You can only see the tippy top because these buildings are blocking it, but that is the antenna of the Empire State Building. Straight ahead. And as I continue to move, this other tiny skinny building is also, it's not opened yet, it's still under construction, but that's another residential condominium. This really tall building over here is wrapping up its construction. It's called the Essex, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not the Essex, I misspoke. What the heck is the name of it? I had it on the tip of my tongue. This is a Extell, E-X-C-E-L-L, Extell, E-X-T-E-L-L, the Extell building. And that is the tallest residential building, I believe, in the entire world. I think now it's number 2. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai is the number 1 tallest residential building in the world. And number 2 is this Essex Tower that's going up right now. It topped out. And it's probably going to start opening for residents at the end of the year. They still have to do some construction inside, but it topped out at the top. It's not getting any taller. And it is now the second tallest residential building, not office building. There are taller office buildings, but it's the second tallest residential building in the entire world, besides the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which is number 1. Now you see there's another tall building right below it. That's an 88-story building that's right below it. So it looks really short compared to the taller building. But the shorter building, which isn't short by any means, the 88 floors, that's 220 Central Park South. The penthouse of 220 Central Park South was put on the market for $250 million. You heard me, $250 million, just the penthouse. And a billionaire hedge fund manager from Chicago called the developer and said, hey, I know you're asking $250 million for the penthouse. I'm offering $225. Will you accept $225? Yes, sold. So some billionaire hedge fund manager, I forgot his name, from Chicago, purchased the penthouse of this building for $225 million. It set a record for the most expensive penthouse in the United States of America. More expensive penthouses and apartments have been sold outside of this country, but in the United States, that penthouse went down as the most expensive apartment in the history of the United States when it was sold. Sting and his wife Trudy, I'm only saying it because it's public, it's been in the newspapers. If it were not public, I wouldn't say so. Sting and his wife Trudy also live in that building, but not in the penthouse. They live on a much lower floor. So let me unzoom this as we continue our walk. So that was your views. I've zoomed out. Those were your views of Midtown Manhattan. I'm going to face the camera west, and we'll continue our walk. You can see the sun is glaring into the phone. Hopefully you can see better than I can right now because the sun is right in my eyes. I'm missing comments because the sun is literally in my eyes. So if you're commenting right now, I cannot see it. I apologize. Hopefully In a few more feet, the sun will hide behind a tree a little bit, and then I can see the phone. Right now, the phone is pitch dark from my vantage point because the way the sun is reflecting off my phone. So I'll just keep talking. I am not seeing comments. If you're commenting, you'll have to ask me again once I can see the screen, once the sun reflection changes angles as I continue to walk east. Our camera is now facing north, and we'll be coming across some tennis courts. Billie Jean King, although I haven't seen her in the park doing this, a number of my friends have. She lives nearby, and every once in a blue moon, she is spotted right there on those tennis courts, just having a nice leisurely round of tennis with her friends right in that direction. I'll zoom in and I'll show you the tennis courts in a second. Just still walking west, and then we'll be turning to head south. Okay, so there's the tennis courts. Let me zoom in a bit. Can you see the tennis courts? So every once in a while, I've never seen her. I've met her, but not here. Some friends of mine have said they've seen Billie Jean King playing tennis on these tennis courts. I don't know how clear it's coming out through the trees behind that building is the tennis courts. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. Right there are the tennis courts. So I'm going to keep walking. We are now making the turn to head south. So we've made another turn. This is the west side. We're approaching the west side. Look at this gorgeous view facing south now. Look at this. Let me zoom in. I can see comments again, finally. So if you commented in the last 2 minutes, because of the angle of the sun, I never saw your comments, so I apologize. You'll have to ask me again if you asked a question. Great weather indeed. It's 63 or 64 Fahrenheit, which is about 17 or 18 Celsius. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous day. Let me zoom in a little bit. There's the view. I zoomed in. Those are the buildings we talked about a few moments ago. That is the Midtown Manhattan skyline facing south. Beautiful. I cannot stress what a beautiful day this is enough. It is just gorgeous. There's no clouds. It's a crystal blue sky. A very, very slight breeze, just enough breeze that it's comfortable so you don't sweat. And as we mentioned numerous times, it's in the 60s Fahrenheit, 63 or 64 to be precise Fahrenheit. And that equates to about 17 or 18 Celsius. And the sun is playing its tricks on me again. The sun is directly beaming into the phone, so I cannot see the comments. If you're commenting, I apologize. I cannot see the comments. Hopefully when we get under this tree, the sun will hide behind it and I'll be able to see. "17 is hot, not cold." Maybe I'm doing the wrong. It's neither hot nor cold. Yep, it's perfect. Absolutely. I agree with you. It is not cold at all, Sacramento. Gorgeous, gorgeous weather. Straight across the way now is Fifth Avenue. We walked all along Fifth Avenue before in the broadcast. Now we're on the west side. You can see these buildings coming into view. This is all west side of Manhattan. And then off to further south, that's Midtown, where we zoomed in earlier and we spoke about all those buildings. That's all Midtown. And now I'm heading back to the west side in a southern direction. So we have a few more minutes left, and then we would have completed the entire walk of the reservoir. Got some good exercising today. Yes, there are a lot of people when we first entered the park. If you were with me at the beginning of the broadcast, and if you watch the replay, you'll see it on the replay. A lot of people were riding their bicycles. You can see them off in the distance. Lots of bicycle riders out today. People on their skateboards as well. Here's another beautiful cherry blossom, walking right underneath the cherry blossoms. What a gorgeous, gorgeous day. By now it's early evening, just gorgeous. This is a running track. We're walking, but this is a running track. If you notice, I'm staying way to my right so the runners can pass by. I go running around this reservoir several times a week, although not today. I hope to run around this reservoir this weekend. I have to take it easy because I overdid it with my running, and I a very slight sprain, nothing major, very slight sprain on my foot. So I have to just let it heal a little bit, and it's so much better than it was just a few days ago. So I'm going to try and run again this weekend. Just needs a few more days rest. Beautiful day. Great evening here, early evening here in New York City. Bicycles are not allowed on this track, although we saw one earlier. It was probably a tourist who didn't know any better. Bicycles are not allowed on this jogging track. It's runners and walkers only. You're not even allowed to take your dog on this running track, although people sometimes do anyway. You can see there's an outer path, and that's where people walk their dogs along this outer path. And then behind that is concrete, and that's where the bicycle riders are. More cherry blossoms right ahead of us, above us. Gorgeous cherry blossoms, absolutely gorgeous. These buildings, this is all Central Park West, so we're now completely on the west side of Manhattan. Just 10 minutes ago, we were walking where the camera's pointing now. That's the Fifth Avenue side. That's all Fifth Avenue. Now we're heading south to finish the last probably 100 yards left of our walk around the reservoir. The reservoir is 1.58 miles around. So when we reach the end point, which is right where we started, that would be a full 1.58 miles. Again, to my right is all the skyscrapers on Central Park West. That's all Central Park West. We're heading south and facing east right now. This is all Fifth Avenue where we walked earlier. We walked all along there. And right down there is the beginning part where we started our walk around the reservoir. So we had a nice little exercise today. There are no clouds in the sky today, just beautiful blue, clear skies. We had a lot of rain yesterday, on and off, but it rained all day yesterday, so you really could not enjoy the park at all yesterday. We were stuck inside, but not today. All that cleared out. Just gorgeous outside. The one thing about broadcasting, of course, is you don't feel the weather. You can see it, but you don't feel it. Too bad, because it's gorgeous out right now. I have on a very light jacket, and I don't even need it. Another cherry blossom tree here. People riding. There are signs about not riding a bicycle. There's no signs right here in this part of the reservoir, but when we first entered it, a little bit after entering it, there are signs that no bicycles, but people don't see it. It's not a big, large sign, so people can easily miss it. And it's mostly the tourists. Us New Yorkers know that rule. But understandably, you can't expect all the tourists to know that. Yes, it doesn't get dark now until 7:30 p.m. New York time. And in another 2 months, it won't get dark till after 8:30 p.m. But right now, a sunset is right around 7:30 p.m. And we are not near sunset yet. We probably have, I don't have my watch on, but my guess is probably 5:45 p.m. right now. That's just a guess. So there's still a bit of daylight left before sunsets at 7:30. I said before my guess is 5:45. It's probably around 6 p.m. right now. Probably a little bit past 5:45. So we're in the final stretch here before we have completely went around the reservoir. And then I'll head out of the park and you stay with me as I do that. 5:53 p.m. Sun